What's up, guys? It's Mark Parson, Cornerback Pro, former NFL cornerback of the Houston Texans and the New Orleans Saints, and now coaching you guys up. Today, we got a nice one-on-one clip between AB, so Antonio Brown versus Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden played some good ball over the years, man. He's been in the league for a minute, so he's a vet. These are the type of clips I like to show because I want to show you pro guys going at it. A lot to learn, so pay close attention. Make sure you guys email me at cornerbackpro@gmail.com. If you have any clips that you saw, you want me to do a critique, send it over. And also ask for the one-on-one mastery program because that's going to be the techniques that you need to know when I'm going to talk about it in this video about having a plan with your feet. You got to have a plan, all right? So let's get into it. We're going to watch it 3 times. I like the number 3. If you guys are into numerology, you study that. Understand the power of numbers, right? Nikola Tesla. Be a smart football player. Be a smart person. All right, let's watch it. So we're in the red zone. So understand where you are on the field. All right, that's number 3. Antonio feeling himself. Okay. So check this out. Let's go over the rep, and then I'm going to talk about a couple things, some good things I learned about AB. All right, so we're in the red zone. So understand what we cannot give up down here. What is a higher percentage throw? It's the slant. It's an inside breaking route, especially the slant. So most likely, looking at him, I think he's inside shade. Guess what, guys? We cannot give up this slant. We can't do it. It's a higher percentage throw. It's hard. He throws it to the ground. It's a better chance. He can get on the 1-yard line or a touchdown. So easier touchdown. A fade is a harder throw for the quarterback and receiver. It's a lower percentage completion. So that's number 1. That's probably what Joe Hayden's thinking. We're down in the red zone. All right. With that being said, we still have to have a plan with our feet. So one of the things that I do with my guys when I'm teaching them in person, first thing I'll do, I'm not going to just go into teaching you techniques. I'm going to ask you, okay, so what do you know about press? So what do you do? Matter of fact, just show me what you do. He's going to go against him. The majority, about 99%. No, it may be 100%. I'm going to say 100% of the guys usually only have maybe one technique, but they can't explain it to me. See, I want you to know the science behind everything we do. All right? And you need to, because I'm going to tell you something about AB and these other receivers, these pro receivers. They're getting with some guys. And they're mastering these techniques and the strategies. So of course, they got scheme they got to do. And we got scheme that we work on. They go to strength and conditioning, right? They go to trainers to get back in shape, get their agility, get their feet right. But something about some of these trainers, these receiver trainers, I will say this, man, they working on certain stuff like releases. They're working on certain stuff like their routes, all right? So they're not just getting in shape. So I'm not saying that the receivers are getting a jump on us, but I'm saying the receivers are getting a jump on us, fellas. They're mastering their art. So we got to get better. I'm telling you. Yo, if you watch my channel, you know how many times I'm watching receiver coaches or talk or receiver trainers. What are they doing? What are these guys doing? What releases are they working on? So AB has been doing this all off season. I follow him on IG. I've been watching him. The dude has been doing more than just working out. Okay? He's been mastering this stuff. And he was already good. He was already top in the league. You feel me? So guys, yo, when I say race against time, God dog it, I just had to add that. All right, let's go over technique. So most likely we're inside shade. You got to have a plan of what you're going to do. So there's multiple techniques. I got 9 techniques. Most guys don't, even pro guys, you'd be surprised. They can't explain it. They don't have a strategy or technique. So most likely our technique has to be something involving an inside shade technique. So what are some techniques? You've been watching the channel, they're actually spread out sporadically over the channel. I give the techniques. Now, the one-on-one mastery program, the positive side of that is all in one. Okay? So my guys are able to see, okay, I see what he's talking about. This is the technique, this technique, this technique. So a good technique that you can do down here You can do inside kick step. Now, it doesn't look like he does that. It looks like he's just off, maybe. But it's almost like he does a false step. And I talk about false steps, how they're not bad. Because as long as you get yourself back to balance, you can guard a guy. Matter of fact, I teach a way to do the false step in the soft shoe, like an inch back. But that's not what he's doing right here. It's almost like he just jumps and hops forward or false step forward. And then we open the gate immediately because, we're like, oh, shoot. And then he strikes. He strikes with the outside arm. So our hips are locked. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have an inside technique. What can you do? You got inside strike and get back to balance. That's one technique. You got inside kick step. That's another technique. You can inside shade and foot fire where you just buzz your feet, eyes, feet, hands. You can do that as well. Um, there's another technique, and I was talking about it. My boy Mike Ford. I remember when he came down from Seattle, and he was actually showing us what Richard Sherman and those guys do, because he worked out with Richard Sherman. This is years ago, a few years ago. But what Richard Sherman would do, and the cool thing, I see that coach, by the way, the coach that was with the Seattle Seahawks, and he had them guys doing it. The 49ers, he's teaching the 49ers to do the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. And the only person I truly saw do it at a high level was Richard Sherman, where he would do inside shade but outside kick step. So he would take away the inside with alignment and then do outside kick step. You gotta be an elite dude to do it. I recommend don't do it unless you practice it all off season. But I'm more of an inside shade, inside kick step guy. And when I say shade, you're not too far over. You're splitting the guy's eye. Okay, you're splitting his eye, and then outside shade, outside kick step. But what you'll see is most guys have no strategies. They have one. No, I'm gonna say they'll have one strategy, one technique that they've learned. And the thing is, they don't even know. They can't explain why they're doing it, and they can't explain it. I want you guys to know exactly why you're doing something, so that when understanding comes, we dictate the routes. All right. So right now, I feel like AB knows exactly. There's no worry in AB's mind. That's why another thing, kind of move around a little bit in there too. All right. But you got to be careful. So if we're inside shade, you got to be careful shooting that outside arm like that, because then our hips are locked. So that's number one. You got to have a plan at the line. I just don't feel like Joe right here has a plan of what he's going to do at the line. You know what I'm saying? I would love to ask him, like, when we're working with guys, that's exactly what I do, man. I ask questions. I say, hey, so what are you thinking right here? What's the technique you're going to use? What's the strategy? What's the plan? You got to have a plan of what you're going to do, because then you'll be inside shade and shoot in the outside arm first, getting your hips locked and stuff like that, okay? Or you'll do the jump split. So usually a jump split, you don't have a plan of what you're going to do with your feet. It's when you're about to press a guy, and then as soon as he goes, your feet split. So it's like you jump up, and then your feet split. And we all have done that. I remember I used to do it. I'd be like, man, I really don't like that when I used to watch my own film, okay? So you got to have a plan. That's what I want you to know. I want you guys to learn these techniques and strategies, so then you can be like, okay, it's red zone, see what I'm going to do. So now, when you're moving around, let's say you line up outside shade first, and then you take a step inside. Guess what? You know what you're going to do. You're going to do it regardless. So if I'm going to do an inside strike and get back to balance, I'm going to do it regardless. He going to have to play around me. So I'm going to pop him and then get my feet back to balance, and now we shuffling. You feel me? All right. So now let's talk about later on in the play. He does a double move. Before we look back, I highly recommend you get your hand on him, on that waist. When I say hand on him, I'm saying being able to touch him. Okay? So as soon as we look at that quarterback, at least if we have our hand on him, if we're going for the upfield shoulder and we're right here, let's say we look back, he got us right here, guess what? We can feel him. I say use your senses. Okay, eyes. Remember when I was talking about eyes? When your eyes are on a guy, you obviously can see where he's going, so you'll follow him. Okay? Now, let's say you have an extra sensory part of your body on him. You use feel, so you have how many senses, right? So obviously we're probably not going to use our nose right here. Your ears, you'd be surprised about how good your ears are when it comes to sensory and all that stuff. I did a video where I told the guys, I said, stand on one foot and see how easy it is for you, right? Just bounce on one foot. Then close your eyes. Bounce on one foot. Then close your eyes and your ears. You'd be like, man, my ears actually help my balance out a lot. But use 2 out of your 5 senses right here. So once you get to them, have a hand on them. I'm not saying grab them, just have a hand on them. So you can't look back too early. If you can't touch the guy, you shouldn't be looking back. Once you get him, you touching him. You look back for the quarterback because you think that's the top of the stem. Then he goes, whoop, double move. Okay, at least I can feel him so I can get a better shot to make this play at the end. You see what I'm saying? So at the end, use at least 2 of your senses. You know, if you can't touch the guy, that means you're too far apart to be looking back at the quarterback. So your eyes got to be right at the very end. Your eyes will save you from the double move. Your eyes will. That doesn't mean be hesitant on breaking on stuff. That means make sure your eyes are glued to the receiver at this point. In press man, most likely your eyes going to be glued to the receiver regardless. Okay? So we're going to watch it fully again so you can see. And then at the very end, never do a one-hand clap. Don't do the one-hand clap because it's a bad habit that you cause on film, and the whole league is watching. You know, I'm not talking about practice. You know, the league's watching in the game. When you got a habit of getting beat, you do the one-hand clap. Everybody knows you messed up. So it's like you put bad film. But sometimes you mess up, they may not know it's you. So that's a little vet tip that I learned. Don't get in the habit of one-hand clapping. Okay, just finish the play and jog back, talk your mess, and be like, yo, I got you next play, whatever. So right here, what happens, and I could call my boy Ben and my other guys and ask them this question on the speakerphone for you right now. What happens when you know techniques? What happens when you have a tool belt full of tools when it comes to press? All right, and we just talk about press man. Your confidence. So it doesn't matter if you're guarding AB. It doesn't matter. And AB is one of the best receivers in the league. He's been doing this for a minute now. And he's getting better. That's the crazy thing, right? But what happens when you have these techniques? They'll tell you, man, my confidence. Because now I have a plan of what I'm doing. I'm not just reacting. The receiver's reacting off of me. Okay? He doesn't know what I'm going to do. I could be aggressive. I could be passive. You feel me? So when you learn these techniques, that's what happens. I'm telling you, fellas, look, follow, what's the dude? Receiver Factory. Look at the history. I don't know if he actually posted the videos. He probably did. I don't know if it was on his IG Live. But if you go back, and I actually talk about it, these receivers are getting better, man. And I'm talking about not just fast, bigger, faster, stronger. Everybody's doing that. I'm talking about technique when it comes to like getting off the ball and doing certain releases. They're getting better at it. And if you think that you can't go to a guy who's going to teach it to you, like they are, they're going to guys and they're getting taught. If you think that you're going to get away with just working out, doing agility drills and doing some one-on-ones and not knowing techniques and seeking this knowledge from different guys, then you're in for a rude awakening because these receivers, they're getting better, man. I've been watching them all off season, yo. I know the enemy. Like, I'm looking at the enemy. If you fellas aren't studying the enemy, man, you're not ready for war. You're not ready for battle. Look at them. Go to Receiver Factory right now and watch his page. And you tell me if these guys ain't getting ready for war. Go to Gold Feet Global and watch his releases where he's teaching the guys, the NFL, college, and high school guys. And you tell me they're not getting ready for battle and war. It's not enough just to get bigger, faster, stronger, and do agility ladder drills anymore. These guys are learning certain techniques that they're implementing on the field. You know? That's what they're doing. I'm telling you. So you got to know this stuff, man. And my guys who've been watching the channel for a while, you know. If you go to the line without a plan, most likely you're screwed. You got to know why you're doing it. You got to have a strategy. You got to have a technique. You got to have a plan. And I need you to explain to me why. Why are you using this technique right now? Because, oh, coach, I'm in the red zone. I got to make sure I don't give up the slant, but I definitely want to stay square because I know how AB is. AB is a crafty receiver. He's a small guy, so he's not going to necessarily try to just moss me right here. He's going to try to be doing that. You feel me? All right. Make sure you guys watch the rest of the channel. Do what I said. Go check out Receiver Factory and learn. Watch these guys. Email me at cornerbackpro@gmail.com. Peace.